What is up, everybody, and welcome to What is Up with Shakespeare. I'm your host, Kay Mullen. Let's get into it. Okay, guys, welcome back to the pod. This week we're going to be talking about some of the challenges, the trials and tribulations of putting on a Shakespeare production in the modern day. And this week we're going to be talking about Hamlet. So, in my opinion, there is three main issues of putting on a production of Shakespeare in modern Ireland, specifically. That's going to be accessibility, production expectations, and cost. So let's get into accessibility first. And the main problem is when there is a production of Shakespeare, that does happen, the common reputation of Shakespeare is that it's snooty or uppity or that it's an English thing. So Irish audiences aren't the most willing to go. So how do we combat that? How do we branch out from Shakespeare's reputation here? Because that reputation is leading to audiences that are usually either forced to be there, like leaving cert students studying Hamlet or King Lear. And there's nothing wrong with that audience. That audience is completely valid. It's just there is a wider audience out there. Ireland being the theatre mega centre that it is, there is a wider audience out there for Shakespeare, and we're just not grasping onto it. And then the flip side of that reputation brings me on to my second point, and the second challenge here, which is production expectations. So Shakespeare being so well known means that audiences are gonna have most likely a higher expectation of the production quality. So with this expectation of higher production, unlike new plays, Shakespeare can't rely solely on its plot to sell tickets. It has to use its production. So new plays, people are gonna go see those to find out what the story is, to find out what's happening with the characters. With Shakespeare, and particularly Hamlet, with how famous it is, people know what's gonna happen in the plot. So you're gonna have to bring something else to the table, and most likely that's gonna be your production value. In Hamlet specifically, one of the main challenges to putting on a production would probably be Hamlet's father's ghost. So you can't put a couple of actors under a sheet anymore. You're gonna have to bring in some form of lighting technician, CGI technology, and implement that into your theatre production. Which brings me on to my third point, which is if you're gonna put on a production-heavy Shakespeare play, it's gonna cost a lot of money. So cost is gonna be the third and probably the biggest challenge to putting on a Shakespeare production. But the biggest thing that's gonna be a cost drain for these productions is going to be the advertisement. That's where most of the money is gonna go, in my opinion. So with those three challenges that I just outlined there for everyone, there is really one question. With all of that said, there's only one question at the center of all these issues, and it's a question I'd like to put to you, the listener. Is Shakespeare compatible with modern audiences? Is it still relevant? Is it still compatible with the modern audience? And with all that said, that's all from me. You've been listening to What is Up with Shakespeare. I'm your host, Kay Mullen. Have a good one.